Welcome to Healthy Lifestyle. I'm Lorianne Casdia. Our mission at Healthy Lifestyle is to explore the various empowering healing options available today, exposing our listeners to a variety of healing techniques, strategies, and lifestyle improvements, removing the element of unknown to a variety of health options and avenues in an informative and interactive manner to help you find your balance with mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual parts of you. We will be discussing everything from preschool to senior living, from acupuncture to chiropractors, from spiritual awakenings to yoga, from personal care to beauty professionals, from diets to exercise, meditation to therapy, support groups to psychologists, aromatherapy to plastic surgeons, from herbology to doctors, and much, much more. Healthy Lifestyle will bring opportunities to you, our listeners, to learn and interact with some of the most renowned experts in their respective fields. And I am so happy to say that today we have two really, really special guests. Our first guest is Dr. Debbie Silber. Dr. Silber is the president and CEO of Silber Companies, LLC, and founder of the PBTinstitute.com, which we will talk about more in a little bit, and is a recognized health, mindset, empowerment, and personal development expert. She's a speaker, coach, and author of the Amazon number one best-selling book, The Unshakable Woman, 4 Steps to Rebuilding Your Body, Mind, and Life After a Life Crisis. Debbie's been seen and contributed to Fox, CBS, Dr. Oz Show. The list is so long. It's just amazing. And after researching and conducting a PhD study on how women experience betrayal from a family member or partner, Debbie has discovered a predictable and proven process taking women from betrayal to breakthrough. That process, coupled with 27 years of health, mindset, and personal development training and coaching, enables her to create a multi-pronged approach to help women heal physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, and, yes, spiritually from the trauma of betrayal. I'd like to welcome Debbie to the show. Welcome, Debbie.
Oh, it's so great to be here. Looking forward to our chat.
Oh, me too. Now, I've known you for since last year, and I've seen you speak a number of times. And I'd like you to tell our listeners what you do, how you came to this discovery, and what brought you along this path. How did you get here today?
Wow, how did I get? It's been a long, long road. But it's amazing. We always wind up doing what we should be doing, or at least that's the plan. And I'm absolutely doing now what I'm uniquely called to do. And it's been through, it started with health, and then I had a major health crash. I really thought if you eat well and exercise, that's all you need. I was dead wrong. And I realized that if you have unmanaged stress, toxic relationship, emotional upheaval, you could eat well and exercise. It doesn't really matter. Right. It will take you down. I was living proof. So I crashed, lost my entire business with clients that I loved. I couldn't get out of bed. Changed everything. Everything healed. That put me on an entirely new path, and realized how profound stress is in our health and wellness. So became from there a functional diagnostic nutritionist and helping people with stress-related issues and disorders, and then trauma, my own and clients. And I saw that I went through my own transformation. My clients I became obsessed with transformation. So did a PhD in transpersonal psychology. The psychology of transformation and human potential led me to the study that you just mentioned, and put together everything that's ever worked now to help women heal.
Now, you just opened the PBT Institute. Tell us what PBT stands for and what you're going to do at this institute.
Sure. And PBT stands for post-betrayal transformation. In the study, we were looking for something called post-traumatic growth, which is, we hear about PTSD, the downside of trauma, but we don't often enough hear about the upside, how that terrible thing or that huge crisis actually put you on a path better than you ever would have expected.
Yes.
Led to a new life, a new worldview.
I know that firsthand, Debbie.
Yeah. But post-traumatic growth is more general. It encompasses, let's say, the trauma of losing someone you love, or disease, or natural disaster. And betrayal is a very different kind of trauma. It's very personal. So I reached out to all my participants of the study, asking them, them, if it felt different for them, because I knew it was different for me, but I didn't want to assume. Sure enough, they all agreed. So we realized it needed a new term, and that new term of healing from betrayal is called post-betrayal transformation.
So when I went through that kind of betrayal, I did what I referred to as I jumped off the roof of my house, not literally, figuratively. I think you talk about a house and how it gets destroyed in some kind of weather activity. Tell us that story, because that's the one that caught my attention last November at a spiritual awakening meeting that we were attending. And that's the one that I went, oh my gosh, that's it. That's what I'm going through right now. Talk about that, because that was that picture that you painted was perfect.
Okay, sure. And I love giving visuals because it's so easy to see it that way. So what I did was I explained, the difference between resilience, let's just say, and post-betrayal transformation or post-traumatic growth. And resilience is a worthy goal. It's bringing back to restoring. So using that house example, let's say your house needs a new paint job. You paint the house. That's resilience. Your house needs a new boiler. You get a new boiler. That's resilience. Your house needs a new roof. You get a new roof. That's resilience. Bringing back to. The difference between bringing back to its original state, let's just say, and something completely different is like this. With something like post-traumatic growth or post-betrayal transformation, it's as if a tornado comes by and levels your house. A new roof, a new boiler, a new paint job is not going to fix it. In fact, all three together won't fix it. And here's the thing. You don't have to rebuild at all if you choose not to. You can look at the lot where your house once stood and say, look how horrible, awful, terrible this is, and you'd be right. And you could even bring your friends along and say, look at this terrible, horrible situation, and they would all agree. Should you choose to rebuild, though, post-traumatic growth, post-betrayal transformation is, as long as you're rebuilding, you don't have to rebuild the same thing. Why not build it bigger if that's what you want, or give it what the old house didn't have? You're coming from this expanded awareness. Why not give it everything the old house didn't have? There's no more foundation. It's gone. You can build anything.
Right.
That's what post-betrayal transformation is.
Yeah, and it's a scary place to be sometimes, and yet invigorating because you have any option. So it's about choices, right, Debbie?
Oh, absolutely. We have so many choices. And the biggest choice, though, is do we choose to remain stuck or do we choose to move forward? And it's so easy to stay stuck because we're in this new space now. We've been blindsided. We're reeling from whatever our crisis is. And we don't know where to go. We don't know what to do. We get stuck, and it's easy to stay that way. The challenge is, it's not the problem that you wound up there. The problem becomes, are you going to stay there? Because the longer you stay, right. And you need to stay for a certain amount of time because you need to make sense out of your situation. But stay too long, you feel like you belong there. That's where it becomes a problem.
Yeah, and there's a fine line between identifying what caused it and why you're where you are and what you have to take away and learn from the experience and to move forward, or just to wallow. And sometimes it's easy just to wallow because you can get a lot of attention that way too. Oh, look at me, pity poor party. And sometimes, hopefully we get tired of that party and we decide to go celebrate ourselves and rebuild and make that choice to move on. You are listening to Healthy Lifestyle. I'm Lori-Ann Casdia, and we're speaking to Debbie Silber from the PBT Institute about transformation, post-betrayal transformation. And Deborah, you found and discovered steps to identifying this transformational process. Let's talk about that for a moment.
Sure. That was such a thrill. When I went into this study, I said, my gosh, how it's so comforting for someone, let's say, who's experiencing grief to know that, they're in this one stage, but hang on, this one's coming.
Yes.
And I remember thinking, I would love if there were these stages of transformation from the moment that we get blindsided to the moment that we feel healed. Well, sure enough, that's what happened. And it was so obvious in doing the study and reading all of these transcripts of these deep interviews that I had with everybody, and then my own experience. We all went through the same thing. So what had happened was we really identified these 5 predictable stages. And it's going to offer the same comfort for anybody going through betrayal, because when they're in one phase, they know the next one is coming.
Yeah.
The timing is different depending on who you are and the resources you have available, but you will experience these 5 stages if you move along.
And it's to me, it's very empowering to know that, okay, I know I'm in this stage and I have other stages to go, but as we go and move into the next one, you're like, phew, okay, I got that stage behind us. Now I'm in the next one. And that, I think, expedites the whole process. At least it does in our head, and knowing that you're going through a process and it's identifiable. It's almost like knowing, okay, I have to eat these vegetables and I'm going to lose weight, or I'm going to eat these French fries and I'm going to gain weight. We know, with a certain amount of certainty, what's going to be the result if we go through what we're the process that we're going through. So very similar to the butterfly. I love transformation. I've always been identified myself with butterfly because I'm constantly transforming into something different. And hopefully the butterfly gets beautiful as it goes. So same with this process. And I understand, and actually I'm part of your classes that are training people so I can help other women or other men go through this transformational process. So let's talk about what you're offering. And this is so exciting to me because anybody can come in, join this, go to your institute and learn this process so that we can pay it forward.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's wonderful. It's what I'm doing just to introduce everybody to it is it's a 6-week jumpstart program where I will walk everyone through the 5 stages and how to heal, because there's no point. I don't want everybody just to learn about them. I want them to experience the healing. So it's very interactive. It's very, I'm giving you these experiential activities so you see the transformation from week to week. And the 6-week program is a prerequisite to actually 2 different certification programs that I have. Every woman said she would have benefited from support, not just to sit and commiserate, but to know you're not alone, you're not crazy. And just to be with other women who've experienced something similar, because maybe they have a different way to move through something you hadn't thought of. So we're having 2 certifications. One is to be a certified PBT, post-betrayal transformation support group host, and the other is to be a certified PBT practitioner. Because now that we know physically, mentally, and emotionally what these women experience, I want doctors and therapists and coaches and healers to know. So this way, when they have patients or clients who walk through their doors saying, I'm having this symptom or this issue, they know to see if maybe can this possibly be tied to betrayal. If so, we know how to help them.
That's wonderful. I know, like I said, when I dove off the roof, again, figuratively, not actually, it became my new normal. That's what I looked at. And there was an odd sense of calm after I made that choice. It's almost as if every burden I had before lifted off of me, dissipated, and now I had just about anything in front of me, and I could choose from anything in front of me to do. And that has been my experience, my growth experience, my transformation. And I think being surrounded by other people who were going through the same thing, that was a calming sense also that said, yeah, I'm in the right place. I'm doing the right thing. And it's nice to know I felt normal, for lack of a better term, knowing that other people was going through the same thing. I wasn't losing my mind. I wasn't going crazy. It was just something that was going to happen as a result of this betrayal that I experienced. So, because
we think we are going crazy. We think we're alone, and we think we're the only ones going through it. And when you realize this is a normal, predictable process, and we're just hesitant to share it because of either the shame, the discomfort, the judgment, whatever we feel like we're going to be experiencing. So we tend to keep it to ourselves, especially early on, and that's when we need the most support. So when you realize this is exactly where you are, but yeah, transformation is a messy process, but there is such clarity, and your new life is waiting for you on the other side of that. So it's a great thing.
Yeah, I like it when you said it's a messy process. It's similar. I liken it to cleaning out my closet. You know, you go in and the closet is all messy and you're like, okay, I'm going to tackle this closet. I'm going to take everything out. You take everything out. It's all over the room. And now you're like, oh my God, what did I just do? But then slowly but surely you put everything back where it's supposed to be, or the new place for it, which is the new place it's supposed to be. And you put everything back in the closet that you want to keep, and you get rid of the things that you don't need anymore, that don't become useful, that aren't really serving you anymore. And now you have this nice, beautiful closet. But it does become really messy at one point while you're taking everything apart. So the same with this transformation. Yeah,
it's so true. And I use the same analogy. I just use the garage. But same idea. It's worse before it's better.
Yes, absolutely. So now talk about, you opened up the Institute. It's over in Melville on Broad Hollow Road. The address is
535 Broad Hollow.
535 Broad Hollow Road. Can you only show up at the Institute? Do you have online capability? So if people don't have the ability to get to you?
I do. I work with people actually all over the world, and it's so interesting. I'll check, new people who've subscribed to my newsletter, and I'll see these countries. I'm always just so amazed and in awe. But yeah, we're online as well. So pbtinstitute.com.
It's just totally amazing. And The Unshakable Woman, 4 Steps to Rebuilding Your Body, Mind, and Life After a Life Crisis. It comes, you can get a workbook as well, the companion guide to the book. I thought that was an amazing process. It really walks you through. What made you write that, Debbie?
Just being, obviously, I guess I'm the poster child for healing from a life crisis. It led me there because I had some physical and then it was emotional. And I said, well, it's got to be, I have to be healing from these crises for a reason. And then I just thought, well, if I've found a way to heal from it, and I knew it because I would have client after client show up and they would say, well, how are you doing this? Maybe they were so heavily medicated, or they were whatever they felt they had to do to get them through. And they saw that I was coming up with these different processes and putting together this really unique combination of health and mindset and personal development and psychology. And it worked. So I said, well, okay, if I've been able to figure this out somehow, I don't even know, how do I not share it? Because it's working.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, I find that I only learn from change. I don't learn from my successes. I'm glad and happy for my successes, but my greatest growth comes from failure or missteps or mistakes that I've made. And then I stop, I relook at it, and I try to learn from it. And that's my greatest growth. Do you find that that's what you see in the women and men who come to talk to you?
Oh, absolutely. Think about it. The easy stuff, the nice stuff, that's wonderful, but nothing teaches you faster than those failed attempts or tragedy or trauma. I mean, we learn so much from it. We really learn who we are. We learn how strong we are right then, and we also learn the strength of those around us. So you want to see, I love this. There's this wonderful quote. I always bash up quotes. But it's something about, you want to see how, like, a woman is like a tea bag. See how strong she is, put her in hot water. I just love that. I think it's perfect.
Good. That's really good. And you didn't botch that up. That was really good. We're speaking to Debbie Silber of the PBT Institute. And Debbie, people want to find you. Where do they go?
Go right to pbtinstitute.com.
Are you online? Are you on social media? Can they follow you, track you?
All my social media links are on that site. So go to pbtinstitute.com. You'll see all my social media links. So go there first, get my ebook, How Your Biggest Crisis Reveals Your Greatest Gift. Follow me on social. You'll find all my links there, and keep in touch for sure.
Excellent. And we're going to put it up on social, on Healthy Lifestyle, on our social media, so that you can just link right over to Debbie's Institute website and her social media. Definitely follow Debbie. She's doing a lot of great things. Debbie, we'd love to have you back on the show really, really soon to talk more about the Institute and all the things that you're working on. And I understand some exciting news is coming down the pike. Congratulations on your ribbon cutting in Melville. I hope to see everybody there. It's exciting. We have lots of groups. Please follow Debbie. And Debbie, thank you so much. You are a sweetheart.
Thank you.
Have a great day. You are listening to Healthy Lifestyle, and I am Lori-Ann Casdia, and we're going to just take a short break. We will be right back. Welcome back. You're listening to Healthy Lifestyle. I'm Lorianne Casdia, and we're speaking to Gary Joseph of Beyond the Spirits. Gary has been an active medium along with an intuitive and sensitive abilities since his first experience at age 7. He loves to be able to bring the messages of those who have passed along with the guidance each person needs. It is his belief that our spiritual connections do not end after your reading, but rather go beyond the spiritual connections made during the reading. It is a continual evolution for those he reads and a continual connection to their loved ones as well as their spiritual self. The exchange of spirit in his readings are powerful and life-changing. And I'm looking forward to speaking to you. Gary, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much. Thanks for having me here.
Oh my gosh, it's a treat. You know, I just adore you, and you've done so much for me and so many people that I needed you here so many more people can benefit from your spiritual guidance. I speak about pillars of balance, your mental, your physical, your emotional, and spiritual pillars. And today I really want to speak to spiritual because you gave me the great guidance about this, and I had been doing it in little ways, but now I'm doing it in a big way. I'm showing up in a big way for myself, and I want to talk about that. So, talk about how you told me about spirituality, and you're not just spiritual, you're religious too.
Yes, I am. Absolutely.
And you have a phrase for that I love.
Yeah. I always tell everybody that I am religious, I'm spiritual, so I call myself religioal.
Love it.
I actually put the two together because there are two different parts of us, and we don't realize it. You know, there's a physical aspect of our life, and then there is that spiritual sense. Because we're so much in the physical realm, we tend to ignore the spiritual side of us. So really becoming aware spiritually is what really gets us through some of the issues we have in our physical world.
And when you say spiritual, I know what you mean, but let's share. What does that mean? I mean, for me, it's belief, it's trust, it's faith.
Well, actually, spiritual are all those things, but it goes a little bit further beyond. It's actually looking at your life, where you are in the physical realm, and then turning around and having a full faith and belief that there is something beyond. The very big thing here is that when it comes to the spirituality and how we actually, just express that, it's important for us to actually connect spiritually with one another, also to connect spiritually with ourselves, but more importantly, to know that the spiritual side of you is actually the one that should lead you first. That is the one that's going to help you grow. That is the one that's going to help you grow physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. But more important, to actually grab hold of your spiritual self will help you to just address the things in your life that sometimes get very difficult.
Well, give me an example of leading with your spirituality. Give me an example. Help me understand.
I definitely will. I have had plenty of different examples. Actually, the best thing that you can do is like what I do is when I get up in the mornings, I actually, before my feet hit the ground, I sit there, and because I'm in a religious and a spiritual sense, the first thing I do is I thank my actual, universal spiritual being. And then I just say thank you for this beautiful day, and I embrace it. I take a deep breath in, I exhale, and I get ready for my day. The most important thing is I walk into the bathroom and I look at myself in the mirror and I say, you are amazing. And I know that today I'm going to go out and do amazing things because I am just here. That's all it takes. Just be present in the moment. And that's your first start of your spiritual self. And then as the day goes on, start looking at things that are a little bit less physical and realize that there's a spiritual connection to each and everything. You hold a door for someone going into a restaurant. That's a spiritual connection at that moment. You don't realize, but that could have an impact on somebody else's life.
Oh, yes. I was just talking to Tom about that earlier, about, a smile. You give somebody else a smile. You don't know how you affect it in a positive way that person for the rest of the day. You might have lifted them up for those moments and taken the rest of their day in a good direction, and yourself, because I find whenever I do something and it's with the right intent, I almost feel a little guilty because I feel so good. Do you know what I mean, Carrie? You feel so good. It's like, oh, I don't know, did I do it with the right intent? And you're like, yeah, I did, but that's the benefit. It is such a wonderful feeling. It's really showing up for yourself. I think that's what I'm hearing you say.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's exactly correct. I just now was speaking with someone today, and one of the things that I did tell them is to have a spiritual connection, is to actually know that the day that you're getting up, there's something more than what you're just seeing. The day that you're getting up, you have a purpose, you have a being, you have a extended purpose. Every one of us have a sense of wanting to live eternally. We build houses, we build, lives, we build these huge careers, and then we get very disappointed when it comes time that, loved ones transition or different ones transition over. The most important thing is to realize is that the reason why we feel that way is because we are instinctively eternal. That is our spiritual self. So get to know that spiritual self, and you will be instinctively eternal.
So how do we do this? So I get up in the morning. What's the benefit of you looking at yourself in the mirror? I do it too now. Look at yourself in the mirror, and you're like, yeah, this is great. You got this, and you got this, girl. That's what I say to myself. And you say you're amazing, which you are amazing, Gary. You know that. So what does that do for us? What does that do for our mindset?
It makes you real at that moment. It makes you realize that you are a part of something much bigger than what you're looking at that moment. If you get up every moment and you do the same routine every single day, which every one of us does, we get up, we go brush our teeth, we have breakfast, if we're quick enough to do it, then we rush off and we go off to work, we see the same people, we do the same road things, we come back home, whether it be on the train, it be in a car, you're walking, you get back home, you have dinner, you throw on the TV, you take a shower, you go to bed. Well, that is very blah, But when you get up, yeah, right? Yeah. It is, extremely. Yeah. You get up, you look at yourself in that mirror, you say you're wonderful, and you embrace that incredible self that you are, and you get off to the rest of your day knowing that when you are nourishing yourself, you're nourishing your body, but you're also nourishing your soul. When you are going to do that job, you are not just going to flip a piece of paper, but you are now deeper in that paper. You are dealing with the person on the other side. There's a person there. There's somebody with a connection to you. You're going to help them. You're going to help them get through their day or their trauma at that moment. You go on and you just feel yourself just during the course of the day feeling accomplished. That sense of accomplishment is your spiritual self. Because what happened is, while you went out there to see that you helped every single person, what you realized is you got back that they actually helped you for that day. And that's exactly what it is. One of the greatest things I always say, I go off to a store, and when I go into the store, there's this homeless person that's there. And they stand there, they don't really talk to anyone, but every time I see them, I always go up to them and say, hey, I haven't seen you in a bit. How you doing? And the minute I come out of the store, they know I'm going to hand them something. And the gentleman looks at what I hand him. I hand him a $5 bill, a $10 bill. And what he does is he counts out 10 little pebbles or 5 little pebbles. Now, most people just walk away, hand them the money, and leave. I take those pebbles because they're very important to him. But moreover, they're important to me. Because I take those pebbles, I put them in front of my religious saint that I have in front of my house, and there I say prayers for him.
Oh, that's lovely.
And that is the spiritual connection. So his being there was not about me helping him that day. His being there was him helping me, so we actually helped each other. That's how you become spiritually in the moment.
Yeah, I hear you, because since I've really focused in on this and started doing this every day and changing my habits, it's hard to change habits. Oh my gosh, I don't even want to do the numbers. I have a lot of years of habits, and changing those habits and believing and trusting and having faith. Those are foreign things for me. Having trust, that's tough, and it's just you have to kind of just throw it in. And the more I trust, the more the universe is sending me signals. Yeah, this is what you should be doing. Everything is a lot easier. I feel like I'm awake. I felt like I slept through the last 20 years. I feel like I'm awake, like every day, every step, every smell. I'm very sensitized to everything in a way that it's empowering. I'm wonderful. I feel wonderful about it. But I need to go back to the looking in the mirror. I know I'm obsessing over this.
That's okay.
But I hear my mom talking to me going, Lorianne, not ego, be humble. This is not what you're talking about. This is not being not humble. You're really just setting the tone for yourself, right?
Absolutely.
And creating habits.
Yes, you got it right on the mark. Setting the tone and creating habits are important because as human beings, we are habit-forming individuals. But that could be a good thing. When we're doing good things for ourselves and others, we are creating positivity, positive feelings, positive energy. That's really what spirituality is meant to have. It is not meant to be focusing on negativity and negative things. So by doing that, hey, I'm amazing in the morning. Look at me. I look great. That is positive.
Yes.
That is absolutely powerful. That will empower every single person to go out there and start their day with a complete sense of connection to the universe.
And it's really hard to say, hey, look at how amazing I am without smiling.
That's right.
Do you notice that?
Yes.
You have to say it with a smile.
Yeah, I have to.
You're listening to Healthy Lifestyle, and I'm Lorianne Casdia, and we're here speaking with Gary Joseph of Beyond the Spirits. This is just like, I could do this for hours with you, Gary, but yeah, that feeling, that empowerment that you feel, we're here to connect with each other, right?
Absolutely. Every single one of us are here to make a connection. Every day that we are, like I said, you go into a store, you're making a connection. You're making a connection with your family members. You're making sure that each and every moment, it has purpose. It has meaning to it. You can, like I said, you can go through the day in a rote kind of a situation, but you really want to make it exciting and happy. Every day we get up, we have such a great opportunity. Why not just embrace that moment and make sure that we're making the most of it? Everyone will talk about the universe. We have to put good things into the universe. Well, what is the universe?
It's us.
Yes, exactly. We create our own environments
Right.
unto the universe. The universe is like the roof in which you live in, the house that has, that roof over you. That is your universe. What you put in that universe, that's a whole thing. You will get exactly what you put in. So why not smile and be happy? Why not go out and share great things with people and watch what the universe gives back to you? So there is a me in that part too.
Sure, yeah.
There is a benefit there, Lorianne. But of course, we are doing it with a wonderful, wonderful insight into other people and making sure that they're also getting that connection. It is contagious. Like you said, smiling is contagious.
Yeah, it is contagious. And showing up for yourself is contagious. And when you're showing up for yourself, you're better. You're better for everybody around you, I find. And the people who aren't good for you seem to drop away and I don't mean unimportant in a bad way, but they're just not contributing to your life and aren't necessary in your life anymore. I always try to liken it to spring. I love spring because everything is starting over again. Everything is lively. And if we look at every day as an opportunity for spring, everything starts all over again. That's the coolest thing about each day. We have a bad day yesterday. Well, that was so yesterday. Today is today. I have a different way, a different attitude. I'm not going to focus the same way I did yesterday. That didn't end well. So today I'm going to come in and think how wonderful I am and what I can contribute to other people. And I find when I look at life as I'm here, and I do believe this, I know we both feel this way, is we're here to serve other people. When I approach life as how am I going to help someone else, everything else works. Everything else works. I work better. I'm a better me. And that's what I think we're all trying to strive for a better me. But sometimes I think we get caught in our habits and who's around us. And sometimes it's hard to say goodbye to people who were special to us, but just really don't have any use anymore, so to speak, to contribute in a positive way to your life. And sometimes we have to disengage.
You do, correct. And that is a very big part of spirituality as well. Recognizing when somebody's contribution in your life has now come to an end. At certain points, it happens naturally. most of the times. And sometimes it is a negative person just hanging around because they love your positive energy. So what you're really looking for is there's a time that sometimes you need to drift away. And sometimes you'll meet back up again.
Yeah.
But you might need to be on separate roads. You know, one of the greatest things, I always look at it, I live my day. That's what I live. I do not think about what has happened because that's already done. I do not worry about what's coming because I always say we plan and God laughs.
Right, that's true. And
we know that
sometimes.
Absolutely. Oh, I think I'm on a comedy show there sometimes. But I do know that whatever it is in the moment, that's really what is captured at that moment. You know, my grandmother would say, from the baby to the 100-year-old, no one's promised more than the day you're in. And that's the truth. A baby's not promised more than a 100-year-old is not promised less. We have that day. Don't waste your time. You know, our time's so precious. Very important to spend our time on positive things and making sure we're in the moment. Don't worry about things that haven't come yet and stop thinking about things. If you say should've, would've, could've, or if, you're wasting your time.
There you go.
You can't change it.
Yeah. I like the don't look into the future. We plan, and we're not living in the moment.
Correct.
And we're so busy taking pictures and posting and looking at other people's lives. I had someone say to me a long time ago, you know, I love to watch the Discovery Channel, and he looked at me and he goes, "Why are you watching the Discovery Channel? Just go out and do it." So that's when I started traveling with my son, and that's when I started doing different things. And now I have all these different hobbies, if you will, and loves, and it's exciting. And it's more exciting because I get to meet other people as opposed to watch somebody's life. I'm actually in my life. And I think, is that the difference you're speaking of, Gary?
Absolutely. You now became the Discovery Channel. You, instead of sitting there as a spectator,
right,
you now are actually there.
Yes.
And that is the most important thing you can do in life. That's spirituality in a nutshell. Believing and having a trust and faith, not just in yourself, but in things you cannot see or even imagine could take place. And then all of a sudden, they're in front of you. How did I get here? Who cares? You got yourself there. That's the most important thing. So you embraced it, you felt it, you knew it, and here you are. And that should be celebrated.
That's funny that you say that. This morning I was asked a question about healthy lifestyle, and they said, well, how did this come about? And I was like, I don't really remember what transpired. I just know that I'm here. And it feels right, and it's good. And I get to bring people like yourself on, and I wanted to share with the listeners that you are going to, be a regular and come on as often as we can get you to come on, so you can talk about all these different elements and help our listeners just try these new habits and establish these new protocols, if you will, or habits in their lives to make their lives better. And I have seen such a difference in just making little tiny changes every day. Those changes feel so good that I want to make them more. Then they've become more and larger in my life. And now I just can't wait for the next one to come on. So it's really exciting. And again, I came from a place of trust was a really bad word. Now trust is, okay, I'm going to do this. I don't know how it's going to end. It's almost like taking a toboggan. I don't know how it's going to end,
That's
but
okay,
let's go for the ride. So hold on. It's going to be fun. You are listening to Healthy Lifestyle. I am Lorianne Casdia, and we're speaking to Gary Joseph, a man that I just adore, of Beyond the Spirits. And what other things do you help people start this? Because it's people who are in it understand it. People who want to get in it or on the outskirts looking in, want to put a toe in the pool. How do we do that? How do we help them go?
The best thing you can do is get out of your comfort zone.
Oh, yeah.
Take a step forward, one step, and just say, I'm going to find out a little bit more about that. One of the things I do is I have a spiritual guidance session for people who don't want to dabble or get used to the fact that, oh my God, there's something beyond there or bigger than me out there. You can come in for a spiritual guidance session, and that just means that we actually have an hour that we sit down and we talk and we go over some of the issues that you're facing, and we find spiritual ways for you to actually embrace that and move it over to where it becomes becomes a positive and no longer a negative.
Terrific, because what's the worst thing that can happen, right? If you try something new, you don't like it, you back up and you go back to your old habits, right?
Absolutely.
Worst thing that can happen. And when I discovered that in my own self, I was like, all right, so if it doesn't work, I'll just go back to the other habits. That wasn't really serving me. And I found the new habits served me very well. So,
that's true.
Gary, how do we find you? How do we speak more other than here? Because we're going to put information up on our sites to reach you. So how do we find you?
Well, you can find me online at www.beyondthespirits.com. And you can also contact us at 631-889-0844. My assistant Marco will be more than happy to help you out.
Love Marco. Hi, Marco. He's here. He won't talk today. We're going to get him on one of these days,
yes,
right,
we
Gary?
will.
One of these days he's going to say something. That's great. You need to check out Gary's website. You need to speak to him. Come back. Join us again. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to thank you. Remember to do a little something for yourself every day. It starts there. It doesn't have to be big. It could be if you want it to be, but definitely take a moment and do something for yourself every day. It creates new habits. Show up for yourself and show up big. Thank you for Debbie for coming online, and of course my producer Brian. You're the rock. I love you. Thank you again, Gary. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I look forward to the next time.
Show up for yourself.